Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
Sybil, do you still love me?
No!
Sybil just got on me, and I'm
asking me this on. I don't care if you're trying to ask me this in front of the Great Girlfriends. I don't care. You ain't gonna fuck me.
And I am your other host, Brandis Daniel. Sybil ain't treating me right.
I'm going to tell y'all in 2 minutes why I'm not treating Brandis right. Welcome to the show, everybody. What's up?
What's going on?
Let's get right into this family feud we're having. So
let's do it.
I have been editing for the past, couple weeks, and I'm tired. And I asked Brandis, am I editing? She's like, if I can get my computer working. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to get that computer fixed. Okay?
Really, Sybil?
You are an entrepreneur. You are a founder. You are a leading woman.
I need my computer. I do. I really do.
I need your computer. The world needs your computer. We can't take this. We can't take this. Hi, girlfriends.
Oh, hey, great girlfriends. How y'all doing? How was your weekend, Sybil?
Oh, my weekend was so awesome. It really, really was. I'll start with Thursday because my weekend kind of kicked off on Thursday. I went to an amazing fashion show during New York Fashion Week for
really?
a brand named Harlem's Fashion Row, HFR.
Oh, wow. That sounds incredible.
Oh, my God, it was fantastic. There were 3 dynamic designers, there were 3 award honorees for the evening, and my great girlfriend, Brandis Daniel, is the founder of HFR. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Brandis, you did that.
Girl, it was so good, girl. God did that. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Woo. He did
that.
Fantastic. In every way imaginable, he did it.
Okay, so I just want to let you know that I almost missed the show. What
happened?
The traffic. The traffic was so bad. It was so bad. So we got into the city perfectly, no traffic. Got into the city, and what do you know? It's just that Fashion Week traffic. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
Right? And then as we're swerving in, the craziest thing, the valet was saying that the lot was full because I have an oversized vehicle. So
wow.
Who do I spot? I spot Jerry, and I'm like, Jerry, help! So Jerry's like, I'm actually trying to get rich in the the Henderson family, and I was like, oh my God, we're all running late. So as it turned out, Jerry kind of talked to the valet, and the valet managed to park my vehicle. So we got in. Yeah, so we made it. We made it, and we got seated in time before everything started. But girl,
excellent.
I said, Dylan, Brandis is going to have our head.
I know, because I was looking for y'all at 6.
The traffic was that bad. We were circling for about an hour trying to get over to the west side. It was bad.
It was bad. Traffic is horrible during New York Fashion Week. It really is. Yes, it's like so much easier to just take the subway or take the train because it's just terrible.
Seriously. It is that bad. And so crazy because, girlfriends, a lot of times you'll catch models, celebrities on the subway, and you're like, is that so-and-so? Yes, they are taking the subway to a show because it's easier sometimes to take a subway and get there faster. And you'll be surprised who you see on mass transit during September. But September is my favorite month in New York. And, Brandis, I'm so proud of you because part of that reason is you kicking off Fashion Week with that show, girl.
Thank you, girl. Woo, that was a push. Let me tell you, it was a push. But God is so faithful. He is so faithful.
You did a great job.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Yes. So the weekend was awesome. How about yours?
It was fantastic. Like you said, Thursday was incredible. Like there's just so many testimonies in Thursday, and just kind of how God just provided and really exceeded, I think, everyone's expectations, and how He set things up. And I'm still kind of waiting on I just kind of know that what He did on Thursday was a setup for so many other things. So I'm excited to see all the other things that are coming. And then on Friday, I went out. 2 of my great girlfriends were here from Memphis, Katrina and Kershay. So we
Mhm.
went to supposed to be going to Burgers and Lobster, but got horrible service. So we ended up at City Crab. And girl, when I tell you that food was the best
Mhm.
seafood I've had in so long. So we did that Friday, and then Saturday we celebrated Deandra's birthday. So
Mhm.
that was super fun, and we had a pop-up shop on Saturday. So girl, my weekend was full, full, full. And Deandra had an old school carnival for her birthday with like trap music, musical chairs. She had a relay race. She had a wheelbarrow contest where, somebody's like holding your legs, and so all these grown adults playing all these kiddie games. It was so much fun.
I
We had a
love
good
it.
time.
Happy birthday, DeAndre Henderson. Oh, that's
Yes.
so awesome. I love
So
it. That's for the
it
kid
was
in
a, it
you.
was a, it was jam packed, but good.
Well, I'm so glad you gave us that update because according to your Instagram, nothing happened over the weekend. According to your Instagram, you haven't done anything. Anything.
Oh God, that's hilarious. That is so
The last
funny.
thing you did was hold your husband and your baby in her arms. That's it.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. I'm getting
Nothing
better.
happened. Nothing
I'm getting
happened. But
better.
thank you for the update though. I mean it sounds amazing. So if you guys are following Brandis Daniel, in fact, I'm gonna urge all of you to go over to @BrandisDaniel on Instagram. Follow her. She's getting better, but let's cheer her onward so we can get her to post more pictures. We like to go
I
with you,
know.
Brandis.
And Sybil does the most incredible job with her Instagram. Sybil, you really, really, really do take us places with you, girl. I'm learning. I'm gonna get there. So
I
check
try, but
Sybil
my
out. It's
go
Let me
ahead.
give
I'm
them
sorry.
your handle so they can check it out. So it's at Sybil_Amuti, Amuti. Hopefully y'all know how to spell her last name by now. But Sybil takes you on her life journey. So if you want to peek inside the Amuti household, where Sybil is, her coming and going, that's the place to be.
You know, that's so funny you say that because a friend of mine was going over on Instagram. She said, "So far, all I know is that you care about your kids and your husband." I said, "That is not true. I care, I care about other people." She was like, "This is like a family photo album," and I was like, "I got to do a better job of sharing because I mean, I have some really fun adventures, and I don't post them all, and I should post more, but." I initially got on social media just to keep my family abreast of what was going on with the kids. Like that was my whole purpose on even joining like Facebook back in the day. So I have got to like change my story about why I'm there, and I got to do a
Right.
better job. Yeah, I got to do a better
Well,
job. I got to do a better
we'll
job.
be at an event tonight together, so we'll make sure that we post.
Yes, yes, yes. So I know we have a very short window today, girlfriends, and I know a lot of you on your lunch break, and Brandis and I are about to actually head out to an event very shortly. But we needed to dive in because, yes, the weekend was fantastic. It was filled with so many great moments. I mean, I can't even name them all. There were still some little dips and lows and moments where I just felt like, man, I'm not winning right now. They really kind of, had me jacked up emotionally. And
Yeah.
as Brandis and I were talking, I think you had some similar moments, right, Brandis?
I had several moments over the last few days that have challenged me emotionally.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not going to pretend like it's just us. I know for a fact that we and our girlfriends alike go through emotional challenges, and some people will say, emotional roller coasters, and they'll say it negatively like, life is an emotional roller coaster. This and that situation is an emotional roller coaster. And they'll feel like they're being defeated by it. But today we wanted to get through this because it's important for us all to really get a handle on our emotions.
Yes,
It's important.
it's so
If we're going to take
crucial.
flight, like episode 60, we talked about taking flight. We talk about, celebrating the closed doors. We talk about letting stuff go and being a hero and changing your perspective. All these things we talk about, and all these episodes that the girlfriends have loved so much, so many of those things are going to come off the back of women or us girlfriends really getting a handle or control over our emotional health.
Absolutely said. It is so crucial. And look,
So
and I'm trying not to give it all away. So it's so true. It's so crucial.
she's playing
Oh
hype
my
girl. She's like,
goodness.
yep, crucial.
I
Yep,
know, because
crucial.
I'm trying not to give it all away, because I want to dive right in.
Well, let's dive right in. I mean, we're episode 61, girlfriends. Who would ever thought we'd make
Yes,
it this far? But we're
I
here. We're
know.
here.
We're
We're
here. We're
episode
here.
61. And we're talking today about mastering emotions. And Brandis has our title. I'm going to let Brandis drop that title.
It's gonna be a surprise.
It's going to be a surprise title. It's going to be a
However,
surprise title.
what I will do is I'll share kind of one of my stories over the weekend that prompted this episode.
I'm ready.
So, so over the weekend, there have been so many things going on. You guys heard my weekend, just how jam packed it was between the fashion show and style awards on Thursday, and then we had an event, a shop brunch and be social pop up shop on Saturday, and then I had so much family in town, and I had friends in town, and just like trying to manage it all. Like I honestly got emotionally overwhelmed, and there was at one point that Rich did something minor, but that minor thing was taking me over the edge. When I tell you over the edge, I mean over the edge.
Mhm.
And I literally had all these thoughts. You know, when you start on that downward spiral,
You keep
you can start
spiraling downward.
you can start spiraling really fast down that
Mhm.
spiral, and one thought leads to another, especially when you start with negative thoughts, right? So one negative thought can lead
Yeah.
to another negative thought that leads to
Mhm.
another negative thought that brings you back to another negative point, and it just, the dots keep connecting, and before you know it, you are so far gone on that darn emotional ride that you're at a place where by the time you respond to that person, you're on 1,000 and y'all started out, and the problem is like on 3.
Right. Right.
And so I was literally on 1,000, but every time I was like, you know what? I'm going to send him a text. Now, this is my husband,
Mhm.
y'all. And I never got peace about it. It was like God never gave me peace about sending that kind of a text message. The text message I was going to want to send, it was not a good one. And I never got peace about it. And I literally had to say, okay, Brandis, you committed yourself to love, like 1 Corinthians 1:13 love. You committed yourself to that love at the very beginning of the year. Does any
Mhm.
of this line up with that love? At one point,
Mhm.
I literally had to check myself, and I was like, none of this lines up with that love. None of it.
Mhm.
And so I said, you know what? I'm just not going to respond. So I didn't respond, I
Mhm.
didn't say anything. And the funny thing is, I don't even think he knew I felt any of this, by the way. So he may have known I was on 3. He had no idea I was on 1,000. So, but so he was gonna be
There's
totally
a
like,
big gap
what?
between 3 and 1,000. So
Exactly. So he was
right.
gonna be sitting there like, what in the world is wrong with her? And
Right.
so I got back home, and he got back home that night, and I was asleep when he got in, and he came in and he gave me a full on like spa massage, and he was just so sweet and so sensitive, and I was thinking, huh. And I'm like, what if I had gone to 1,000 with him, our
Mhm.
entire night would have been different, my
Mhm.
day would have been different today, our entire week would have been off
Yeah.
if I hadn't like taken it back and like really, really, really checked myself emotionally at that point. And
Mhm.
I just think it's so super important to do that, because that you're spiraling out of control with your negative thought after negative thought after negative thought. Then you react and respond based on how you're feeling. You're at 1,000. That person is at 3. They have no idea you're at 1,000. You respond at 1,000, and now they got to kind of come up because they can't respond to you at a 3 and you at
Right.
1,000. So now they're responding, and then there's all of these other things take place. These reactions take place because you just didn't stop. Like, I just kept
Yeah.
thinking this morning, what if I had not stopped? What if I had sent those messages? What if I had like communicated to him the things that I was thinking when I had gone from like, one thing to the next thing to the next thing in my mind. And
Mhm.
it was just it was one of those things I said, okay, I'm really really happy that I just checked myself. Cuz then I would have been regretting it. Then I would have had to go
Mhm.
back and apologize. It would have been a whole nother thing,
Mhm. Mhm.
So, girl, yeah. So
Completely
with
long,
sibling
drawn out drama if you had done it the way your flesh wanted to.
long, drawn out, unnecessary drama.
Right. Right. Which would have led to more apologies that you would have had to humble yourself to give.
Right. Then I would have been ticked off because I had to go back and say I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad that you pressed pause in that moment because that was like a
Girl,
crucial game changing moment. Like, all right, if I just give myself 5 minutes to
right.
pop off,
Right, because
just
like
five
I mean,
minutes.
honestly, it was just life and pressure and stress,
Mhm.
and one thing leads to another thing, and then you've got your family. Like when you've got all so much going on, you really, 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 really have to be slow to respond emotionally at
Yeah.
that point. Because there's so much going on, you can't think clearly. Today, now that everybody's like out of my space, like I love them being here, but now that my space is clear, it's like I can think clear. And I'm like, that response would have been so ridiculous. But I couldn't see
Yeah.
it then.
Right. But it takes a certain amount of emotional maturity to say internally, hold on, B, not so fast. Hold on, B. Think about the big picture here. Hold on, B. This is not who you are. Are you tired? Are you frustrated? Are you going to give him more than he deserves in this moment? Hold on a second. It takes a lot.
Right.
And I mean, I've seen and know for a fact that not everybody's pressing pause in those moments, right, girlfriends? I can only imagine the number of people looking around at a cube like, oh my God, is this? Can
Well,
people
I
see
haven't
me
always
cringing
pressed
right now?
pause in those moments, Sybil. I haven't
Oh, of
always
course
done it
not.
either.
No, you have to. It's something that you have to cultivate. But
Right.
I know for a fact it's cultivated. And I mean, even like I was sharing with Branda's girlfriends, HFR was so fantastic. I mean, it was a beautiful night and a beautiful experience. But I had a moment at HFR that really, really pierced me in my side. Right? Is that fair for me to say it that way? Like it really did ouch me, if I could say it. And none of it is. I had a situation where there was someone that I've known for years and known very well, who in last year, the same kind of scenario, we had a disagreement of some sort, and instead of this person deciding to speak when they saw me, this person literally looked at me and completely turned the other way.
Which is so unbelievable.
Like completely. And I wanted to pretend like it wasn't happening, right? Because I'm there, I'm in high spirits, I'm having such a great time. My kids are with me. A friend of mine was with me, and my friend was the one that went, "What was up with that?" And that's what made me know that it wasn't me being sensitive. This person really did turn their back and walk the other way. And girlfriends, I can't tell you the amount of rejection that I felt in that moment and hurt and disappointment
Mm.
that somebody
Mhm.
that I knew and loved so dearly, and still love dearly. Like I would never just be like, I hate this person. I love this person. But for it to be someone that I care so much about, for that they would think so little or low in that moment and be so emotionally immature enough to walk away and act like they didn't see me and my kids who they know
Mhm.
very well. Like that was really devastating. And a big part of me, like that flesh, like that gut part of me was like, girl, go grab that joker up and do a straight up like, go serve him. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I
Right.
want to do. But whose night would that have ruined? Everyone's. Like
Right.
I
Right.
would have looked like Boo Boo the Fool because it's not even in my character to do something like that, to be responsive. Because just because someone does something to me doesn't dictate the way that I respond. So it would have been completely out of my character. I would have been so embarrassed, so ashamed and humiliated to have done something disgusting like that, even, just period doing it, but let alone in front of my kids. You know what I'm saying? And on Brandis's beautiful night, even though this person, felt so or thought so little of me in that moment, I really, really had to check myself and be emotionally mature enough to say, you know what, just because this person is displaying this level of immaturity doesn't give you a permission slip to go out there and be reckless and
Right.
deface your own personal brand, because that's not in my character. And don't get me wrong, after that, I negotiated with myself. I said, all right, girl, just send a nasty
Right.
text.
Right.
Don't do it in
Right.
public. Do it in private. Just send a text and just lay them out. Just lay, because you need to lay them out for the way that they treated you, right? But what kind of win would that have created for me? I still have to live with that behavior. I still
Right.
have to, I
Right.
still have to live with that. And this person gets to go on about their business and become a victim to my, misplaced character if I do something like that. So, I really had to reset, but I won't pretend that I did not hurt. I hurt in that moment. I hurt badly because I really felt like I didn't deserve that. But that's according to me, right?
Well, you didn't. You totally didn't.
But that person
And
felt like a
but
girl.
and you
You want
really
me to text
didn't.
them?
But you didn't. And the thing is honestly, I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know. I don't think what we're saying is that some of these emotional feelings are wrong. It's kind of like, what do you do with it though?
Yeah. How do you manage it?
Yeah,
Yep.
like what do you do with it? It's like, because
Because
honestly, see, if anybody in that situation would have been, I'm even shocked. I honestly cannot even believe it. I'm just like, what?
yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. And it sucks, but it is what it is. And what I know is that these things come to test my standards. That's all it is.
Right.
These are just, and I kind of consider, like, when a baby cries sometimes, the baby wants to do sound check. That's how I position it. Baby just testing their sound. They're testing their vocals. They want to see how well they cry, and they want to push it. I try to find a positive spin on it. So when these things happen to me, I make the decision that these things are in place just to check the quality of my standards.
Right.
That's all it
Absolutely.
is. And I have to
Absolutely.
decide, it's up to me to decide whether or not I pass these tests or whether or not I want to take it again. And I've never been a fan of taking tests twice. Like, I like to just ace it, get through it, and, master it so that I don't have to go back down that road again.
Absolutely. See, if I was thinking, the door that was closed in my face that we did that
Yeah.
we did that episode.
Uh-huh.
So the door that was closed that hurt my feelings so bad.
Mhm.
Um, Somebody from that office ended up calling me and asking me if they could get several tickets to the fashion show. And and my emotions, literally my
Mhm.
emotions, had all kind of thoughts on how I wanted to respond to that. But I literally had to
Mhm.
take a step back and honestly look at this more from a what makes the most sense. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, they actually do need to be there. They do need to see this. But it took me a minute to respond because I had to get over my hurt feelings to be able to see what could be beneficial to me, HFR, the designers, in the long run. But that
Yeah.
took a minute. I'm not gonna lie, because my flesh was like saying something totally different.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and that's the part, girlfriends. What we want you to know from this is that we face it too. We deal with it too. And it's not that we have, complete barriers from handling, from, encountering people and circumstances that are beyond us, because we do. I wish I could say things went perfectly every day and that, my kids were just perfect every single day. And, I don't face rejection. I've overcome that. But every level, there's something new there. There's a new level of rejection. There's a new level of inferiority that you face, or every now and then a doubt, or something that you come up against that you've got to decide in that moment, what your standard is and how you handle it. And I think one thing that we've realized is that it costs so much. It
Oh
costs us
my
so
God. It's
much.
so expensive.
It's so expensive to make these emotional mistakes that we try to reverse on the back end, and we lose time and relationship over, and we lose, our integrity, and we compromise ourselves, and we feel so humiliated by. It costs us so
Yes.
much to go through that.
Yes. It's way too expensive.
Right. So,
And none of us can afford it.
So one of the first thing it is when we don't master these emotions, it leads us to making decisions that we later regret. For
Yes.
example, if I had done such thing in said incident to said person, which is jab this joker in the back of the neck, because it was just a quick jab. I could have just been like, ta-da, like a karate chop, right?
Right.
And just laid him out. And I'm not even violent, but that's just how frustrated I was. Who would have handled? Yeah, let's look at the long term. I mean, it just spirals downward from there, right? Because from there, I have a physical altercation. From there, my daughter has to see me looking like a plumb fool in public, acting like I have zero home training, countering everything that I've ever raised her to do. Same thing with my son. My son then goes into protective mode. Brandis is then humiliated because at this beautiful event, one of her great girlfriends is out there cutting up like she don't have any good sense, confronting people over just the smallest ounces of foolishness. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm regretting all of this because I'm out here telling great girlfriends how to be superheroes to yourself, how to be bigger and better and braver and stronger than the next person, and here I go acting all local. Right?
Right.
And I mean, that's just in the most basic sense. Or if I had sent this text later, with all these things that I felt like I needed to share because my feelings matter and people need to know how I feel when I feel it immediately. You know what I mean? I would have regretted later the idea that I gave this person power over my emotional stability.
Right.
I would have regretted that completely.
Been
Same
such
thing
a
with
waste
you and
of
Rich.
time.
Yeah. If you had popped off on Rich, prematurely,
Right.
first of all, you wouldn't have got that massage. Let's keep that 100. That wasn't happening. You would have been at a spa instead of getting a massage from your amazing husband.
Oh, exactly.
Totally different Sunday. Totally different.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's the first thing.
Exactly.
When we surrender to those negative, harsh, instant emotions, we make decisions we later regret.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 2 is we become subject to our circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So every single thing that happens to you, you're reacting. Like whatever you feel, you're reacting that way. And you're constantly dealing with these consequences of acting from your emotions. So because we all know life is full of challenges, like small ones, big ones. And if you react to everything that's coming your way that doesn't actually go your way in a certain way, that's not productive and that's super emotional and angry and resentful and, sad and all these things.
Yeah.
Literally, people are sitting back looking at you like, girl, this child is uncontrollable.
Uncontrollable.
And sometimes
immature.
it's sometimes immature, uncontrollable, somebody who looks like they just don't have anything together because you're just subject to everything that happens to you. Because we have a choice and we can decide how we approach things and how we approach life and how we approach challenges. We have that decision. Two people can be given the exact same set of circumstances. The biggest difference is in how each one of them approach that circumstance.
It's real. And I want to encourage, because I know, Brandis, there's somebody listening who's wondering about why they haven't gotten that promotion on their job and why, they don't get considered for leadership. Get out of those catty emotional conversations that are keeping you back. Because everything about your character speaks in how you respond and how you're proactive or reactive to things that are happening in and around you. So if you're always subject to someone's, consideration of you at work or how a meeting went, and then you go and you're communicating and blabbing and sharing all of your gripes and your, emotional immaturity with other people, would I promote you?
It's getting
Absolutely
around.
not.
It's around the office.
Come on. It's
Everybody
circulating.
knows. Right.
You're known for it.
Right.
And let me keep it real, because there are people who will sip tea with you but will not say a word. You notice that. There are people who will listen and let you go rant and rant and rant your way into a position that you can't grow yourself out of because of that emotional immaturity. It's so important to stop and assess it. And then the very people that you rant and sipping tea with will go and get a promotion, and they won't look your way because they already know the type of character you possess, and they know about your inability to show emotional maturity when it's needed.
Absolutely.
So consider that you don't want to be subject to circumstances all the time. And number 3 is that you find when you don't have that when you don't haven't mastered your emotional maturity, you can't be vulnerable with other people because you're too sensitive about negative things that could happen. Because you already know or can already anticipate how things will go, it makes you feel like you can't even be vulnerable and you can't be, connected with people in a deeper, more emotional way. You can't even give that part of yourself to other people because you're always assuming something negative is going to come your way.
That's so true. Oh, that's so true.
It's terrible. And then people say they have a hardest time being vulnerable. They have a hard time, really connecting with people. And I go back to the trust. And why is it that you don't trust? Because you haven't cultivated an emotional strength around certain issues. So when it comes time to be vulnerable and give people a chance and be optimistic, you can't do that. You haven't done the basics.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. And number 4 is you can't encourage someone else. So when you don't have that emotional piece under control, there's no way you can encourage someone else because you're so into your feelings all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're so into what's going on with you and what's going on with your feelings and what's going on with your life and how people have hurt you and how this situation happened and this person got promoted over me. So now I can't encourage you to do that job well because I'm so busy thinking about the fact that you got promoted. I'm so emotional about the fact that you got promoted and I didn't get promoted.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's hard because we have so many beautiful girl tribes out there who, somebody calls and tells you something, a circumstance that didn't go your way, and it's like, girl, what you going to do? Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. But you can't encourage anybody because you're looking for her to be responsive. You're looking for her to do something that responds and that will force her into a circumstance that she can't get herself out of. And that, Brandis, that is really true. You cannot encourage someone to believe and to not give up and to keep the faith if you haven't done so yourself. You really cannot do it.
Absolutely.
The other part about it that's major, oh my goodness, when you have not mastered your emotions, another challenge that you face is that other people can't trust you.
Oh my God,
I want to be the girlfriend, right? They can't trust you. I don't know. If I come to you with something, I want to know that you're going to keep me out of jail, that you're going to help me grow stronger, that you're going to give me something that I can use that's going to inspire me, that's going to lift me, that's going to move me forward, and that you're going to keep my perspective fresh. So I want to trust you, and I want to be trusted in the same way. And the only way that's going to happen is if I cultivate enough maturity around situations that give me wisdom, so I can give you wisdom in situations, right?
Right, because I'm not calling you and I know you're about to tell me, girl, you got to send that text. He did what? No.
Right.
Let me help you draft the text.
Come on. Listen, at that point, I am no good for your marriage. I am no good for your life. I become Debbie Downer. And because even at the end of all of that, Rich will be looking like, You talk to who? Done. You ain't hanging out
Right.
with her no more. That's
Right.
not a great girlfriend.
Right. And the thing is if I see you super emotional about everything, if I see you popping off when this thing happens, and I see you, down in the dumps for a month when that thing's happening, like your emotions are so all over the place, then I gotta walk on eggshells around you.
All the
I can't
time.
even I can't even really cultivate a real relationship with you because I don't know how you're going to respond to anything. So
That's right.
you don't have if you're super emotional and you don't have that under control, you probably don't have real friendship because no one
Right.
knows how to really approach you.
Right. And they
They're
don't know you because
afraid.
all they're meeting is your emotions.
Right.
They haven't met your character yet.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. That's true.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I kind of told you guys, how I handled myself in that situation. I did not send a nasty text. I did not knock the Joker in the back of the head. I didn't do any. I didn't do
Right.
any. I didn't do any of that because I'm above all of that. I really am. I'm above all that. That's never been a part of my DNA, and I won't allow circumstances or situations to dictate how my character operates. I've already set in mind how I respond. And Brandis, likewise, I think you showed in that scenario what was more important and how you have decided to major in what's important, which is the bigger picture, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Instead of getting caught up in the small things. And so from this point, we just want to leave you with some solutions that I mean, you can actually put these into place now, today. In fact,
Today.
you might want to go after this lunch break or whatever break you're on and consider this before you start going to have conversations and when you're hanging out with your friends this weekend or whatever it be. It could be in your relationship or with people that you may have conversations or conflicts with, and you need to resolve it.
Yeah.
These are some
No.
solutions that'll work. Number one, for me and for Brandis and for all of you great girlfriends, you gotta set standards. You
Yes.
absolutely have to set standards. There has to be a way that you do things. You have to be known for that. It has to be the type of situation where things happen to you and people already know what your standard is for response. To the point that if somebody said, Sybil hit somebody in the back of the head, people will be like, no, she didn't. Quit playing.
Right.
You lying. You
Right.
you lying. Because that's not how she rolls. And I know this about her because she has a standard. And I've seen her act according to her standard on so many occasions that everything you're saying, it can't be true.
Right. That's
So
so
it's got to
true.
be this thing where you have a standard in place that says when this type of situation happens to me, this is how I respond. When I'm confronted with situations that hurt me, this is how I respond. When I'm angry with someone, this is my first response. This is how I do things because you don't want to be the type of person that's circumstantially driven all the time. Granted,
That's
things will
so
happen, right? You'll be in a hurricane and you'll be forced into scenarios, but having a standard is almost like an insurance policy that guarantees, regardless of what happens to you, you are not forced into something that you can't handle.
that's so true. It goes back to like literally when that situation happened and I had to go back and look at love and what is
Yeah.
love and does this response line up with that?
Yep.
And it didn't
Yeah.
on so many levels. A gazillion
Mhm.
things in that chapter. It wasn't patient. It wasn't kind.
Mhm.
It kept all kind of rackets of wrongs too. Like it was like so many things in that thing that did not line up.
Right, right.
So I was like, you know what? I need to hold that. I need to hold that.
That's right, because you
Um,
said at the top of the year that love was your standard.
Love was my standard. That's
Love is your
it.
standard.
That's the
Yeah.
standard. And that leads me to number 2. Press pause.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just need to delay your response. Sometimes you need to be disciplined enough to not respond in the moment. Like you're feeling so emotionally driven at times that first response is the wrong response. I know people say the first
Mhm.
response is usually the right response, but when we're angry and hurt, that first response is usually the wrong response. So
Yeah.
take a minute, and you don't have to respond right away. Wait till the next day. You can say, hey, if it's, with a friend or a husband or a boyfriend, you can just say, hey, I need a minute to really digest this and come back to it.
Yep.
You have the
Yeah.
right to do that. You can say, I need a minute. Because sometimes that first response will end up hurting you. It'll end up hurting that person. It causes a whole lot of other things, results to happen, outcomes to happen because you just didn't stop for a minute
Yeah.
and think.
Yep. That's true.
So, yeah,
Very true.
girl.
That is a big one, and I know for our pop off queens, because I know I've
Right.
we got so many people who, as women, we can be so quick with it at the mouth. It's just in our bones to just lay people out. That's what people, just lay them out. I just want to respond, and we see so much on social, and we see so much on TV and in reality TV especially, where the minute somebody does something, you just attacking like an
Mhm.
animal,
Mhm.
and pressing pause is almost like well, who does that? That's immature, or But I think that's the most mature move you can make, is to be
Absolutely.
slow to respond. And literally be
Absolutely.
like, just because you're feeling a certain way doesn't mean I have to even participate. I don't even have to
Right.
participate.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't have to participate. The next thing is spending more time with your positive emotions. I say you cannot cultivate anything you don't exercise regularly, right? It's a discipline. Being masterful over your emotions is a discipline. It doesn't come from, us just saying I'm positive and I'm light and I'm love. It comes from us actually implementing, values and decisions that allow us to show that in our lives. So it's not enough for me to just tell myself that when these situations happen, this is how I'm going to respond. I literally have to practice it. And I have to
Yes.
practice it in big decisions and small decisions. If I'm talking
Yes.
with, someone about finances and, things aren't going the way they seem with business, I have to cultivate it then. I have to cultivate it when I'm speaking with my children. I have to cultivate it when I'm speaking with Kwaku, when I'm talking with Brandis, when I'm talking with my own parents, my siblings, everywhere. It's something that I have to cultivate. I have to decide that I'm going to operate a certain way and do it at a frequency that will allow me to build discipline. I repeat, you cannot build discipline around anything you do not exercise.
Right.
You don't exercise it, it
That's in
won't become a
every
habit.
area. That is
That's
in
every
every area.
area. That's right.
Right.
It will never become a habit if you don't exercise it. And it'll always be a thing where you say, "Oh, that's for the great girlfriends." No, it's not just for us. It's for any woman who wants to experience mastery in her emotional life.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
so
And if
true.
you want
That's so
certain
true.
results, you have to do certain things. So certain actions will yield certain results. You want positive results, yield positive actions. The same thing.
It's so true. I was thinking about some things that happened just over the last few days, and I had to go back to what I had been practicing, which was gratitude.
Mhm.
Just going
Mhm.
back to that. And it was
Mhm.
interesting because
Mhm.
it was so easy for me to hop back into because I had been doing it for the last few weeks consistently. So
Right.
it wasn't like a huge shift for me. I was like, let me go back to gratitude.
Right.
So you're
Right.
so right. And just practicing the
Yeah.
emotions that, you want to control your life.
Yeah. And you feel so much
And
better.
so much better. Oh, so much
Yeah.
better. So much lighter.
Mhm.
So much lighter. And then the last solution we have is think about the outcome. So, what outcome do you want? And if, for example, I want a loving marriage, a great marriage, I want a husband who adores me, I want to love him fully. Like, if I want all those things, for me to have popped off the way that I was thinking about popping off,
Mhm. Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
not going to get me closer. The results that I wanted, the outcome that I
Mhm.
want in my
Mhm.
life, it just it didn't match with the emotion that I was feeling. It really, really
Right.
didn't. And the outcome that I got actually was, my massage and just him being so super sweet. It would not have happened had I popped off. So I think it's
No.
thinking about, what, like you said, Sybil says all the time, like, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your life to be? What do you want your outcome to be? And is the emotion that you're thinking about showing, is that going to get you closer there? For example, the closed door that I had. Well, I know what I
Mhm.
want from that. I want
Mhm.
HFR to be on television. I want HFR to be televised next year. So if I
Mhm.
want that, what's the point of me acting nasty towards the same people that could actually get me the result that I want to get? Because I'm
Mhm.
feeling some kind of way emotionally because my feelings are hurt. Temporarily, my feelings are hurt. So it's
Right.
like, and then looking back at that closed door, I'm like, that closed door was such a huge blessing, a bigger blessing
Mhm.
than I could have ever imagined. So it's like, but if I had just popped off, if I had said something smart or ignored her email or whatever, it would have been useless. It wouldn't have got me
Yeah.
to the outcome that I want. So you have to ask yourself, what outcome do you want? Is the
Yeah.
is this emotion going to get you there?
That's good. That is so good, and it's so true. And that's something like, I mean, that's like one of those game time questions. And that's another one you have to cultivate, because for some people it will take them a long time to answer that because they haven't asked themselves that question enough. They're just so responsive that they're like, you know what, this is what it is. This is how I handle the situation. Bam, boom. And I mean, a lot of times in that situation, you find that you won't revert back to an action or a course of action that you've taken in your past, because you realize, dang, last time I did that, I responded this way and I got a result that didn't line up with what I
Right.
really truly want. So this is
Right.
an opportunity for me to change a complete course of action and do something brand new in an
Right.
expectation or hope that it's going to get me the results I'm looking for. That's how you keep building it, and that's how you keep building trust with people, because people will look and say, "Wow, you know, once upon a time, Brandis would have done X, Y, and Z, but now Brandis is handling things this way." Hmm. Brandis might just
Absolutely.
be growing up a little bit, which means I can then
Right.
trust her with my own emotions. I can say, Brandis, help me grow in this area. And that's what that iron sharpening iron is about. It's about, you help me grow in areas where you've already shown maturity, where you've already strengthened yourself, and where you've already displayed some type of merit. Like, all right, I've conquered this one. I've conquered that one. I conquered the next one. If we keep on just trying to, slide through and leap over and just kind of, barely make it instead of conquering and mastering some of these things, we'll never experience the victories that we deserve.
That's so true. That's
And
so true.
I love you saying that, because we have to change the story. And I mean, that goes back to Brandis. It goes even deeper into, I don't care if your whole family fights. I don't care if your
Right.
if your mama told you how she handled your dad when she handled that same scenario. Your mom is living out a totally different story than yours.
Right.
Totally different story. And if you're not happy with seeing the outcomes that it got your mom, you have a chance to change it now with the way you handle your husband or your job and your boss and your friends and things like that. You actually can forgive and move
That's
forward.
so good, Sybil. That is so good.
We don't have to live it out the same way. We have so many more tools, and we have so much more wisdom. We have so much more
That's
wisdom.
so good. Yes. I
Yeah.
love it.
I love it too. I'm telling y'all, girlfriends, when Brandis and I say we're cheering you on from victory to victory, it is because
We
that
are.
is
Oh, we
what we're
are.
doing.
But this episode right here, I already know there's some great girlfriends who are like, oh man, there's a situation y'all gonna be dealing with today while you're listening to this. You're gonna be
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose a different outcome, a
Somebody
different
is
emotion, a
deleting a
different way to
post.
choose it. Right.
Yes, somebody's going on Facebook and listen, delete it. You bigger than that. Even if you
Just
did it
delete
and
it.
you realize, delete it. And our little millennial girlfriends are like, "Oh, I can't pop off on Twitter." No, ma'am.
No, and no sub texting and sub tweets and sub. We know the person know you're talking about them, so you're thinking you're sub this and sub that. They know you're talking about them. You get on
Don't
Facebook
give over your whole career to that.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
Don't do it. Don't. There are so many consequences that you can't even measure that will come from you being responsive to foolishness that will move away. The foolishness will be over with, and you still harping, and people looking like, dog, I thought that wasn't that happen last year? She's still doing that?
Right, and then on the flip side of that, Tib, there's so many blessings that are waiting to come your way, but you're blocking them because you're acting a certain way emotionally.
Yep. You got to grow up. Grow up, show up. That's it.
Absolutely. I love it.
It's game time.
Amazing.
Amazing. Girlfriends, thank you so much. I can't, let me do this the right way. Hubbies.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being just the fantastic guys you are and for helping our girlfriends to know that real dudes are out there, that love is out there. We thank you guys for that. Your example was fantastic.
Girl. Look, are you ready for our meeting with them?
Oh, my gosh.
Girlfriends, we're meeting with the husbands.
We're meeting with the husbands. My Lord, Father. We may not Facebook Live that one. I feel like I don't like y'all today. Or maybe we'll like them today. I don't know.
The husband's about to get the great girlfriends together. So, we'll keep y'all posted.
Oh, my gosh. We'll keep y'all posted. I'm sure something amazing is about to pop off. So, but honestly, I wouldn't choose two men. No two other men I'd rather have in our corner.
Absolutely, because when I tell you they want us to win, they want us to win. So.
Yes, they do. Thank you, guys. Thanks to our families. I just can't thank our families enough. Mamas, daddies. I saw the Henderson family last week and got my hugs from mom and dad. I love them.
Girl, shout out. Let me tell you, shout out to my mom and dad, who every time I have a big event, they're like, okay, we're going to come up there for the week because we know you need help with Sky. Girl, thank you, Mom. Mom, if you hear this.
Yep. Thank you, Mama.
I am shouting out Bethel and Henderson. I don't know how I would have made it through last week without her.
Yeah, and I saw Mama Daniel, too. I got to hug her, too.
Yes, girl. Yes.
I was so happy to see. I love, HFR really is a family affair. It really is. I consider HFR the minority family reunion in fashion. It's kind of like how Essence Festival is the Black family reunion. HFR is that same. It's a family reunion.
It's a total family reunion. It is.
It is. But anyway, thank you to all you girlfriends for being our go-to source, for trusting us as your go-to source. See how I jacked that up, y'all? For everything, life, love, and laughter. You can check us out on Instagram.
The Great Girlfriends.
On Twitter.
_great GFF.
On Facebook.
The Great Girlfriends.
Oh, and join our Facebook group. 12,500 women are in there connecting, loving each other, growing each other. Get in there. And that's at The Great Girlfriends.
They're so amazing.
Yeah.
That is a unique group.
It really is. I feel so good. Just honored to be a part of it. So thank you, girlfriends, for allowing us to be a part of this experience, too. We appreciate it. And make sure you check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry, Podcast Bean, and every other podcast service. Make sure you post your questions online. Share with your friends. Keep listening.
Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend.
I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandon.
And we love you. We're signing off.
Bye, guys.
Bye.